Hi everyone, I'm Thảo. I'm the founder and creative director of slow fashion label from Hanoi, Viet Nam called Kilomet109.
My name is Lola Lely. I am a British Vietnamese designer and artist based in London. I'm the founder of Lola Lely Studio and WAX Atelier. So I think we met each other at Somerset House in London 4 years ago. And so Thảo was actually exhibiting some work there, and I specifically went along because I was interested in Thảo work. But we didn't have a very long meeting at all, did we?
You know, I think we tried once, Lola, if you remember, to work together for another project, also from Princess Council, I think a few years back. But we didn't manage our time to apply that. And then it's kind of, you know, it's always, you know, back at our head, or at least with me, that I really want to do something with Lola.
So we made an appointment to one day meet in Vietnam or in London again. It must have been 2019, and really wanted to work on a project together. And so we sort of made plans to do so, didn't we? And this project came along and it seemed so appropriate.
And I've been working with this Blue H'mông community in Hòa Bình for almost 10 years. But yeah, the COVID-19 has been really tough for any kind of business, including my business. But it's even harder for local community, especially H'mông community in a very remote area. And they complain with me that their textile product had a really hard time. They can't get their products outside of their village and they can't make a living.
And Thảo explained it to me, and so it had obviously now that we can't travel, it had a more of a kind of digital aspect, so connecting, without the travel, which is quite an interesting idea now, and also something we have to get used to.
When Lola shared with me about her new products, candle products, and I think Lola also shared with me that it's kind of worked perfectly in the social distancing time, because people, starting to pay more attention, more like inner care to the home feel, the atmosphere at home.
For a long time, I've always kind of been fascinating on how Thảo managed to work with her communities for this type of project where we can't travel. We don't want to lose the conversation. We want to actually open up conversations. So, it seemed like actually, this crafting without borders, and for the first time experimenting more with a kind of an online platform.
And that is kind of the eureka moment for me, that I think I can do something not exactly the same, but bring a new products, new idea to this community, because we have a similar materials locally.
So really, we're both scratching our heads to work together, and we exchange ideas and cultural and embrace, and celebrate these cultural differences, and this is the opportunity where it becomes even more ambitious and maybe even more complex to do this. But it was a challenge which, we both felt that, it could be achievable, and if not, if there's something interesting that's going to come out of it. I would say that we share similar approaches to how we start a project.
Lola working with a group of artisans in London, while I'm here working with numbers of local artisans too, and especially with this Blue H'mông community, we are creating everything from scratch, from seeds to the final garment. So we have a very similar approach and working environment.
Because just from hearing what Thảo been saying, she doesn't start with just trends. So I don't think I start with a trend. So what I think would be appealing out there.
Lola and I, we both come from creative backgrounds. We're working with that kind of mentality, with new ideas, find a new way to combine the traditional textile or traditional methods.
So I think that's sort of, speaking to Thảo, and that's how we connected, is because we share kind of like a similar philosophy of design, and design should be beautiful, it should be like art, it should also be practical. I think there's many things, and that we talk about, that it's it doesn't matter if it's Viet Nam or in London. I think it's a common ground of people, and people enjoying good honestly made things and good materials, and taking care of our environment, and also celebrating the craft and preserving craft.
For me, handcrafting is very much using the human energy, and you don't need other machines to have you, so you don't waste up money to spend for electricity bills or water, or technology, other type to make textile.
Yeah, I think you've put it so beautifully, and it's exactly what I would say too. And also, with the handmade, it's like handwriting. Each artisan, when they make the products, there's a slightly variation from artisan to artisan, so you really do get that kind of, subtle differences in the objects and the uniqueness.
And also handmade poset, it's very eco-friendly. They're using local materials and natural materials, so it's not harmful for the environment.
Yeah, I think that is kind of what makes our products sort of unique and stand out from mass produced items, because you can feel it, you can see the characteristics, the handwriting of the artisan in the products.
We plan to make a new range of products, and also textile too. So the packaging right now, I use only canvas bag, and I didn't use any papers. The handmade paper were quite expensive for packagings, and they're beautiful. So you don't want people using the wrapping paper, and they just after you ship the garment to their door, and they keep the canvas bag because it's reusable, but for the wrapping papers they're going to throw in the garbage.
And it's interesting you say that, Thảo, because for our side we want to do do things that we don't produce. So for example, we do want to look at more clothing items. So we wanted to look at things like very practical, like a raincoat, because it rains a lot in England, less for the home and more for going outside. Again, little tote bags for shopping, things like that. So it's really interesting how we can really feed off each other and bounce off each other to almost like fill a gap that we don't have in our own collections.
But yeah, we wanted to create like a home kind of products, maybe cushions and table runners or tablecloths. We can apply some wax, like the process that Lola working with her community, to our new colors, instead of only indigo, or to just try, to just play around with it, to experiment with it.
And also, as Thảo said earlier, this time we want to take a little bit of a back seat as well, to really to encourage the artisans to this time to be a bit more experimental, and to be perhaps even the designer of some of these products, to give them a bit more empowerment in a sense. So this project, I think it's really good for us to also to observe and learn from each other, and also from the communities, and to sit back and listen and to learn more from them, and to give them, again, as I mentioned, just empower them to be a bit more self-reliant, and to use their own creativity, because again, that is something that I feel like I've kind of missed out on as well, because we as designers, we're always sort of this is our training, so we're used to it, but not really used to seeing it from the other side. So that will be interesting.